Hey there, I'm going to solve some of these problems with you to make you feel more comfortable, or hopefully it'll make you feel more comfortable. So this is the Convert Between Radicals and Rationals worksheet, practice worksheet, and it says write each expression in exponential form. So for number one, I remember that I take my radicand, which is 3p. I'm going to go ahead and put that in parentheses. Then I'm going to take my exponent and make that a numerator in a fraction, and then take my index or root and make it the denominator. Flower, exponent, flowers are above ground, index roots are below. So hopefully that will help. I'll say that a lot, flower power. So your answer here would be B. Let's do number 3 because it's interesting because there's no root there. So I know that my 6b goes in parentheses. Now there is no exponent, so if I don't see it, I know that it's the number 1. Remember, if you don't see it, it's a 1. Also, when you have the radical symbol, if you do not see an index, we assume that it's a square root of 2. That will always be the case. If there is not an index listed, it is the number 2. So 6v to the 1/2 would be A. Moving on, I'm going to do several of these. I'm going to try to go a little bit quicker. Now, if you need to pause this video or rewind it, please feel free to do so. So my radicand goes in parentheses. I know that if I don't see it, that this is raised to the 1. Exponent, flower. Index, if I don't see it, is 2. Root, denominator. So we have A. Oh, this one is in the denominator. So I know that I'm going to have a negative exponent here. So let's see, we've got 3p. I'm just going to ignore that for right now. 3p, that is my radicand, which goes in parentheses. My exponent is 3. My index is 4. Index is 4. And I put that negative on the wrong side, so let's make that negative right there. Why is it negative? Because it's in the denominator. Negative causes it to be in the denominator if it's a negative rational exponent there. All right, moving on. Oh, here's another one. You know that negative is going to be the answer. Well, that's pretty simple from your answer choices, but let's work it out. I'm going to ignore the 1 right now and put my 2x in parentheses. My exponent is my flower, my numerator, index, denominator, or root, and it's a negative because of that 1. So D is your answer here. So that is, radicals to rationals. Let's work the other way. So working here, remember each expression in radical form now. So I know that I'm going to have a radical symbol. So write that. What is your base? What is there? That's just an x there. Your exponent is still going to be your exponent. Your index is your root. I kind of crossed it out there, sorry. Your index is your root, so that goes right here where your index goes. So let's see, our answer would be B. 13 is the same way. 14 looks interesting, so let me do that. I know I'm going to have a radical symbol, and I also know I'm made too big. And then I also know that my base is inside. Exponent is 1. Now I don't have to show it, but I'm going to show it just to start off with. And my index is 4. Now remember, if it's an exponent of 1, you don't need to show it. So what is your answer? And you really don't need the parentheses, so with or without, you'll be able to identify it. Let's see, I'm trying to find a negative one. Let me just make one of these an example of negative. So I'm going to ignore the answers here. I'm just going to do a what if. So what if that was n raised to the negative 4/3? Well, I know I'm going to have my radical symbol and my base of n. Exponent is 4, so that's going to stay an exponent. Root is 3, so that goes where my index is. The negative, and I'm saying again, I just made that one up, causes it to go to the denominator, so I just put a 1 over it, over top of it. So if this was a negative, that would be your case. I want to do another negative just to get you familiar with it. I'm trying to, let me do a what if here. Let me find a blank space here. No, I'm working on my sheet here. Let me just do a what if here. So let's see, what if we had 12x squared raised to the negative 3 halves. All right. So I'm going to start with my radicand symbol. Your base goes inside. So 12x squared, there's no parentheses. Okay, what is that raised to? Exponent of 3, index of 2. Well, remember, I don't have to write that 2 there, because if we assume it is there if it's not shown. If it makes you feel better, write that 2 in there. Now, what does the negative do? It makes that be over 1. So I'm just making room here. So the negative makes that over 1. Okay. So practice that, rewind, get an idea for that. You may also find, sorry I went off that, I want to move down to simplifying. I did not really tell you or give you an example, so I'll make another video on how to simplify these with your Desmos calculator. They're really easy. So look for that.